Hello, this is Stephen Al. We are back with another movie review, and in today's movie review series, we'll be reviewing Baby Driver, released in 2017. Now, a bit of background. Baby Driver was both directed and written by Edgar Wright. He had basically been developing this for over 2 decades, and this was clearly a passion project of his. And it was originally based in Los Angeles, and this film was in production hell, you could say. It was a passion project of his, and when he came to this film, he definitely brought his own unique take when it came to the choreography, the camera work, the editing, and also the colors, which symbolized certain characters. Now, I will say the film was received pretty well. It was made on a budget of $34 million, but made over $226.9 million at the box office, and received very well critically, and was even given a few awards. So already, this film is already well liked. But the question is, how do I feel about it? Do I personally like it? How do I feel about it? Well, before we get to that, we have to get to the cast, and of course, we need to get into the plot. The cast for this film are the main guy, Baby, the character, hence why the film is called Baby Driver, is portrayed by Ansel Elgort, probably butchering the last name, really sorry if that's the case, and he's our protagonist character. He's essentially he's basically the getaway driver of this massive crew that does all these robberies, and he has a love interest, Deborah, played by Lily James. And it's like a young love type thing. The two are pretty well, but I'll be honest, I think it's my least favorite bit about this film. I'll get more into that later. And of course, there's the whole bunch of supporting characters. Jon Hamm as Buddy, who is a very likable, actually, evil guy, because he's honestly not really that. Because first off, he's a criminal, but he's a criminal that Buddy really likes. They get along, but then something happens to result in him become evil. I'll get more into that later. There's also Darling, portrayed by Elsa Genosis. It's probably a last name I'm butchering badly, but basically, that's Buddy's squeeze, partner in crime. Other characters include Doc, portrayed by the legendary Kevin Spacey. I don't want to get too much into him because I know there's a bit of controversy surrounding him, but honestly, I'm a fan of his from his acting. I can't really say on his political side or whatever controversy has been. I don't want to get too involved in that. But judging by the performance, I really like. There's, of course, Jamie Foxx as the character of Bats, who is actually more of an evil bastard and evil person than Doc really is. Doc is the mentor, but he's really showing how he's willing to get dirty and gruesome. And I think that works well, really, in the favor of his character and overall with the film. You have, of course, Jon Bernthal as Griff. We've actually seen him a few times on this channel. One was when he was in The Many Saints of Newark as Johnny Boy Soprano, Tony Soprano's father. But of course, many will best remember him in The Punisher as the Punisher. Really great character. Then you have Eddie Nonos, portrayed by Flea, the band guy. I'm not really sure most about his work, so I'm not going to go too much into that. Then you have JD, who is another small-time crook in the film, portrayed by Lanny John. And another minor character, Joseph, portrayed by C.J. Jones, who is basically very well connected with Baby Driver. Anyway, that's the cast. Not really a big one, but to be honest, this film didn't really need a big cast, and hell, didn't really need some of these big names like Kevin Spacey and Jamie Foxx, but it ultimately did. Anyway, so what's the plot? Well, the plot of this film revolves around the Baby Driver character in question, who they call Baby, and he's basically the getaway driver for Doc's heists, where he has basically all these kind of tough thugs, guys who are capable, do these heists, and Baby Driver gets them out. He's a well-respected driver, but Baby doesn't want to be involved. He wants out. And basically that's what the premise is, because he wants out, wants to start this life with this girl he's met. But when he feels like he's about to get out, he's brought into one last heist that goes essentially terribly wrong, and just problems and problems just keep piling up. So, and that's really the plot. It's kind of things we've seen before in these kind of, I would say, cops and robbers movies and shows, but just because we've seen them time and time before doesn't mean they can't redo something different with them. So what are some best bits about this film? Well, first off, I really like the supporting characters like Bats, Buddy, and Doc. All are really great and have a screen presence. Darlin's not really my favorite, I'll be honest. I feel she's really just tacked on. Nothing personal against the actress. I'm sure many fans who love this film like her. I'm just obviously in the minority that doesn't. I don't know. However, despite that, I will admit, Darling and Buddy do have this kind of twisted Bonnie and Clyde thing they got going on. Bads is a complete whack job, almost psychopath, and I really love him. Doc, you could really, how he kind of has all these misfits and, crazy characters come together, and he managed to somehow basically have a huge control over them. And again, he has this professionalism, and the fact that, he rarely raises his voice, that just makes him far more intimidating. But a thing I really love about this is Baby. Not only is he a great getaway driver, which many guys, can contribute. Yeah, he is. And I like how he has this tinnitus in the ear. It's written to his character because of a car crash. He gets this hum in his ear, so he drowns it out by playing music. So I kind of feel like there's a bit myself in him, always playing music, to distract yourself from whatever's going on. And I like how the music always is, when he's driving in these crazy sequences, fits the tone. Hell, the opening is really great with, score-wise, editing, and just everything for really great opening that really draws you into the film. I also like the colors. You notice Baby mostly wears black and white. Maybe because that's his view on the crime world. It's a black or white. But eventually he does wear grey at some point where he starts to get his hands dirty. In fact, the characters always comment on the fact that, well, he, they don't deny him as a driver. But guys like Grill and Bats kind of, think he should get his hands dirty. He wants to be a criminal. That's the thing. He doesn't want to be one. Bats is always wearing red, which shows just how much of a loose cannon he is. And Buddy, I actually like his character, almost a supportive big brother figure, and looks after Buddy. But once Buddy does something that ultimately gets on his bad side, he goes after him. I kind of like it, but I also don't. I'll get to it in the bad moments. And also the editing, the car chases are some of the most great I've seen in any film, and it's really engaging. And I give the people behind this really planning it out, and it's arguably one of the highlights of the film. Do I have any criticisms or bad things to say? Well, I'll be honest. The bad thing or criticism is the love story with Buddy and Deborah. I just feel it's forced. And I understand it's supposed to be this young love thing, and I've got nothing against that, but I just feel it's just not really done that effectively or that interesting, in my humble opinion. But that's, again, personal opinion, not a fact. If people like it, that's fine. Another thing I also want to criticize is a little bit of the third act. After a heist that goes wrong, really understand why Buddy's going after him, but he kind of flips to being the big bad, when really it should be Doc. I don't know. I wouldn't mind if somehow Doc should have been portrayed with Buddy or Baby trying to take on both Buddy and Doc. Again, it's more criticisms, because I can't really say anything bad. And I will admit, it is a fun movie, but I'll be honest, I'm not in the many who are constantly going back to watch it nearly over and over and over again. When it pops up, I'll watch it. If I'm going through a streaming service and I find it happens to be on, I'll watch it. But it's just, I guess that's really it. I just don't see why it's so high on a pedestal that other people are. Maybe it's just me who just can't get the film, and that's fine. There are films I like, but people around me, they just don't get it. Again, that is fine. It is purely up to a personal, not just taste, but just personal opinion. Overall, these are criticisms, not really bad things, but just things I wish that could have been tweaked. Again, personal opinion, not trying to bash this film, as again, I really like most of it. The editing, the driving sequences, most of the characters. It's a fun film. And that's rare you can get these days. Just fun films that are just meant to be mindless entertainment, rather than just trying to be another cash grab, or to be part of something larger. So I give the film at least credit for that. It is a fun film. So here we come to the final verdict. How do I rate Baby Driver? Well, in my personal opinion, I rate it 3.5 stars. Not a bad rating. I find it just a fun popcorn type of film. You can just sit down and watch and have a blast. I don't think it is that great as other people put it on a pedestal for. But again, personal opinion, it's still a fun film. There's some great characters. There are some really enjoyable moments. Great performances. But again, the criticisms kind of draw it down for me. But other than that, it is a great film. Give it a watch if you haven't. I do recommend you give it a watch, and it's up to you whether you like it or not. Overall, it's a great film. And there we have it. That was the Steven Hour movie review. Join us next time when we review Footloose. So stick around when we review that one. Till then, this has been the Steven Hour, ladies and gentlemen. So long for now.